Hello everyone, my name is Vladimir Nepochalovich. My experience of working with SAP products counts more than 10 years, and last 2 years I work for LeverX Group. Today I'm going to speak about warehouses logistics and how SAP EWM solution help to optimize warehouse processes and organize them efficiently. If you don't mind, I will turn off my camera and we will concentrate on presentation. Okay. My presentation consists of 3 parts. The first one describes SAP EWM solution. We will look at its components, evolution, business processes, and show benefits it brings. Then we will continue with real examples of SAP EWM implementation and explore 2 cases for manufacturing enterprises, for automotive and pharmaceutical industries. Finally, I will show a live demo of SAP EWM module, and we will look at real-time warehouse processes. The presentation takes about 1 hour, and if it's okay for you, I'd like to leave questions for quality QA session. You can write the questions in chat during presentation, and at the end of theoretical part, there will be time for discussion. During live demo, feel free to ask me the questions. Okay, let's start. Before turning specifically to the topic of our webinar, I want to say a few words about LeverX Group. We have been working with SAP for over 17 years already. Our expertise covers the development, implementation, integration, and replication of SAP products. Also, we support SAP solutions and provide consulting services on them. The company is headquartered in California. As you can see on the slide, the development centers are located in Moscow, Kiev, Tashkent, Riga, and Pennsylvania. The International Development Center is located in Minsk. Over the years, more than 550 products have been delivered for enterprises operating within the manufacturing, oil and gas industry, logistics and telecommunications, automotive, pharmaceuticals, retail and wholesale. Among our clients are such companies as BMW, Bosch, DHL, and Usauto Motors. The case of the latter will be considered in this webinar. Before we start to talk about SAP EWM solution, it is important to understand what is the warehouse management system in general. The warehouse management system is used to control and manage the day-to-day operations from the time goods enter to warehouse until they move out. The WMS could provide not only simple functions like storage information, but allow to achieve a paperless environment that directs your employees automatically. Experience has shown that the implementation of WMS can significantly increase the speed of warehouses, decrease the number of errors, and reduce the impact of the human factor. It is important to note that today it is impossible to imagine a modern warehouse without a WMS system. When we are talking about warehouse management system, the so-called expectation versus reality effect can take place. Often, WMS can be presented as a simple system with very limited functionality, responsible only for processes shipping, picking, receipt, or issue of the goods. In practice, the scope of WMS is much broader and covers such important areas as address storage, physical inventory, put away and stock removal strategies, control and management tools. It also performs several additional functions. You can see some of them on the slide. So what benefits can be delivered with WMS? If we are talking, for example, about address storage, it is the accurate information about warehouse stock, a decrease of labor cost for picking, and increase the order execution quality. Predefined put away and stock removal strategies allow to exclude manual control for goods receipt and goods issue processes. Control and management tools are improving the accuracy of operations. Additional functions reduce expiration date losses and reduce infrastructure costs. As today we talk about a specialized module for warehouse management, SAP EWM, on this slide you can see the evolution of this solution. Warehouse management functionality began in its history in 1991 as an embedded module in SAP ERP, and over the time has become a separate SAP EWM solution. The logistic processes became more complex and the solution developed as well. Each new version has been more adopted to business requirements, and today the latest version is S/4HANA EWM 2020. This solution more intuitive and easy to use, improve resource utilization, minimize inventory costs, and maximize service levels. According to classification of WMS systems by Gartner, it covers the needs up to the maximum fifth level. Moreover, implementation of SAP products often begin with the SAP EWM model. So we can say that SAP EWM is an independent product that has been developing for over 30 years, and it's clearly not going to stop. SAP EWM solution included four main types of processes: inbound, internal, outbound, and cross processes. Inbound processes are responsible for the goods receipt and placement of the materials. Internal processes manage stock at warehouse. Outbound processes optimize picking, shipping, and goods issue processes. And cross processes such as yard management, labor management, integration with RF environment play an important role and add the additional functionality. These four main processes are universal for any industry and cover all needs that can be addressed to a warehouse management system. Next, I will focus on the SAP EWM solution, and on this slide, I will briefly describe the main key data and basic processes. The address storage is one of the basic principles of the SAP EWM solution. To ensure this, there are several internal organization units with different levels, such as warehouse number, storage type, storage section, and storage bin. The warehouse number is the highest level of organization unit and usually represent the physical warehouse where all materials are stored. For example, in our case, one warehouse number can be assigned, for example, for cold store, and the other one for the rest of warehouses. Storage type represents a storage space where the products are physically stored in warehouse, such as an open area, goods issue and goods receipt area, racks, floor storage. In SAP EWM, usually defined such commonly used storage type as high rack storage, bulk storage, fixed bin storage, general storage, and pallet storage. A storage section is a part of storage type and represent a group of bins with same characteristic. For example, it could be a high racks, fast moving or slow moving items, etc. The storage bin defines the exact physical location of storage space where the product are stored in warehouse. It is the lowest level of the organizational structure. Since the storage bin address is often specified in a coordinate system, it often has name as a coordinate. For example, in our case, bin name 010102 might represent a storage bin in aisle 1, level 1, and bin 2. It is clear that the criteria for identifying organization levels are quite approximate, and for each project, the organizational structure defined based on the existing processes and warehouse parameters. The store material can have additional characteristics that are required to process it in the warehouse. For example, the material can be accounted in several units of measure, for example, pallets, box, trolley, etc. The batch serial number allows accurate identification of the required materials. The expiration date is required to provide the proper rotation of material in accordance to FEIO and FEFO rules. First in, first out, and first expired, first out, as you know. The stock type and special stock determines whether it can be used. For example, stock type could be unrestricted, blocked, quality restriction, and special stock could be customer stock, project stock, etc. The packing specification determines how the material will be packed. I will cover this in more detail during the demo, during the live demo. As I already mentioned, the SAP EWM solution include 4 main types of processes: inbound, internal, outbound, and cross processes. Let's imagine a warehouse model and briefly move on through it. All starts with goods receipt and material distribution to the storage place. Then we will move to production supply with raw materials and receipt of finished goods. For delivery from warehouse, we will pick and pack materials. So with different areas at warehouse. It is important to know that all goods movement is recorded in SAP EWM system. In system fixed who started the activity, who made changes or executed. The history of activity can be viewed at any time in system. I will also show how it looks during the demo. Okay, let's start with basic processes of EWM system. Goods receipt processes. The material arrive at warehouse and unload to the goods receipt zone. In this zone, material are checked to ensure that the delivery meets all the requirements. Articles, quantity, best before date, packaging, labeling, usually verified in these areas. If required, materials can be placed to the quality inspection area for incoming control. In case materials arrive, for example, in transportation package, they can be moved to the consolidation area and repacked and labeled in according to the storage requirements. In SAP EWM, the materials placement based on predefined put-away strategies. They can be configured in accordance to the specified parameters and allow to automatically distribute materials to the appropriate storage location. It could be racks, bulks, floor storage, etc. And of course, all activities and material movements are reflected in the system in real time. After we take a brief look at the goods receipt process, let's move to the goods issue process. On this slide, you can see 2 different ways for outbound processes. In the first case, warehouse employees perform picking from stage bins into pick handled unit, so-called picking handled unit, picking HU. In SAP EWM, the exact storage bin for picking of materials defined automatically based on stock removal strategies. As picking HU is completed, they move to the packing work center. In this packing center, picking HU can be repacked into shipping handled units and moved to the shipping carrier for loading into vehicle and process goods issue. The second case shows a 2-level picking process. It consists of 2 steps. At the first step, outbound deliveries are combined into a wave and the total quantity of materials is picked and moved to the intermediate storage section. In the second step, the total quantity of the picked materials is distributed from intermediate storage section to the individual deliveries and process goods issue. So as you can see, the difference between these 2 processes is that the first case picking performed for each delivery, and in the second, total quantity of materials are picked and then split into deliveries. The second case is based on wave functionality, and I will also show how it looks during the demo. For sure, the main question you may have is what is the benefits for the business in case of SAP EWM solution implementation? The answer is money and time. As SAP EWM is a complex solution, it covers all warehouse operation. The advantages start from the first step when the goods arrive at warehouse. and the material placement with flexibility put-away strategies increase the available storage capacity. Improved equipment and facility utilization, space optimization, reduce inventory and labor costs. Reduction of picking, shipping, and billing errors. Reduction of the goods returns leads to higher customer service. Now let's move on to the practical cases of SAP EWM implementation. The first case we look is implementation of the SAP EWM for UzAvto Motors Uzbekistan. This solution was based on SAP S/4HANA 1909 version. The UzAvto Motors produce more than 370,000 cars of General Motors model range per year, have over 10,000 employees working, and more than 100 suppliers provide goods on a 24 hours, 7-day basis. The main goals of this project was to optimize warehouse processes and ensure their transparency, and minimize the time spent on supplying production line without downtimes. This project is also notable for the fact that the main phase of implementation peaked on the height of the pandemic. Our team conducted a survey, explored the system and processes, and when lockdown began, all communication took place exclusively in the remote format. And finally, the start of the project and employees training performed on site. Before moving on to the result of the project, I would like to underline some limitation that we faced on. This limitation was the different standard for labeling materials, steady supply of materials from numerous suppliers. The materials for the assembly lines should be issued at a specified time, just so-called JIT calls. So we can say that the main result of the project was a creation of a unified system for stock management and movement of the materials. Moreover, especially for these products, was developed a special solution such as new algorithm for barcode decryption, container management with EWM functionality, and additional functionality at RF terminals for unloading of materials from container. The next case is the implementation of SAP EWM in a pharmaceutical company in Ukraine. In this case, the SAP EWM was implemented on the already existing SAP ERP base. Pharmaceutical is one of the most difficult industries with increased demand to accuracy of the warehouse operations.
Vladimir, I apologize, but I think that you've missed one slide. So you're speaking about previous ones. Maybe it will be better to show. Yes, thank you.
Sorry, yes. I apologize, yes. As I say, pharmaceutical is one of the most difficult industries with increased demand to accuracy of the warehouse operation. So it was critical to ensure that the business processes fully comply with the FDA and GMP standards, as well as focus on the main goal of the project, to provide the full traceability of the raw materials. To cover this requirement, an unified standard for barcoding of raw materials was developed and implemented. Now we move to the next slide. Thank you. And as a result, the implemented SAP EWM solution allowed to trace raw material from the moment of their arrival to the warehouse until the moment they are used in production. Full control over the movement of storage unit provided throughout the use of the RF terminals. Additional functionality for quality control check with using RF terminals was developed, and almost all manual operation for packing and labeling of the storage unit was automated. So with theoretical part, I think we finished. If you have any questions, please ask. I don't see anyone in chat. I don't see any questions. So if there are no questions, we can proceed with our Go Live demo in system. Okay, just a second. Okay, let's start. I will show you two main processes in EWM, goods receipt and goods issue. In EWM, all information accumulated in one global transaction, a warehouse management monitor. As you remember, we speak about organization structure, so we can check how it looks like in a real system. Here we can see warehouse number, and we can check what storage type, storage bin, and storage section presented in this warehouse. For example, storage type we can see for bulk storage area, pick and carry, fixed bin storage area, pallet storage area, and etc. And each storage type has their own storage bins. Let's check for this one. This is the This is the storage bin. You can see the list of maybe 200 storage bins. We can see that most of them are empty. Yes. And we can see bin name. Okay, let's start with goods receipt processes. All movement in EWM system based on deliveries. For incoming processes, it's inbound deliveries. For outgoing processes, this is outbound deliveries. Let's check for inbound deliveries, for open inbound deliveries. Let's take delivery date for today. So we can see 4 deliveries. 2 of them are already completed. We can see the statuses, and 2 of them are not started. Each delivery has their status, and they will change during working with this delivery. Let's check what items contain this delivery. We have two materials, EWM A01, EWM A10, and in second inbound delivery, we have also 2 materials, EWM A01 and EWM A11. Also, we need to have a point that all materials already packed in handled unit. It will be performed automatically when inbound delivery was created in EWM. The first delivery, we can see that all materials packed in 2 handled units. Let's check it. First handled unit, we can see 4 boxes for 25 pieces packed in 1 handled unit. The system packed this material automatically based on packing specification. Later I will show you how it looks like. And the second handled unit packed only on pallet. There is no boxes, no additional packing units for these materials, for this material. And look at the second inbound delivery. The same. Let's check handled units. In this case, we have 3 handled units. Let's check it. 1 handled unit have the same packages in boxes, but with 10 pieces of material. Let's check the second one. And the same, 10 pieces per box, and all 5 boxes packed in 1 handled unit on pallet. And the third handlet unit have material EWM A11 and packed all quantity only in pallet. I will show you how it proceeds. To pack materials in system should be created packing specification for each material if you want to pack it automatically. As you can see, we have 5 packing specifications. For material EWM A02, EWM A10, EWM A11, we have 1 packing specification for each material. If we look more detailed, we can see that for material EWM A02, we have only 1 level of packing pallet. 100 item and 100 PC can be packed in 1 pallet. The same we can check for other materials. The same, only 1 level, but 200 pieces can be packed in 1 level and 1 pallet. And third material, the same, 1 level and 200 pieces. For material EWM A01, we can see that we have 2 packing specifications. Then we have 2 packing specifications because we have different packing specifications for different suppliers. If we check first packing specification from suppliers 5040, we can see 2 levels, box and pallet. For box, we packed 25 pieces per box, and in pallet, we will pack 100 for 4 boxes. For other supplier, we have different packing specification. The same 2 levels, but in box, we will pack 10 pieces. And in pallet, we will pack 50 pieces, 5 boxes. The same as we see in inbound delivery. Okay, let's start with goods receipt process for delivery 137. We'll do it with RF terminals. We will emulate it. We select warehouse number, select resource, and enter to the RF emulation. Select inbound processes, select receiving of handled units, and receiving handled units by ISN. ISN, we have ISN number for inbound deliveries. Sorry. Didn't copy. We can see delivery number, supplier, supplier name, and how many issues we need to receive at warehouse. Continue. Receiving. We can see total quantity of handled units and quantity of received handled units. We can see the list if we need it. We can see the number. We need to scan handled unit number for receiving. Let's imagine we scan it. Here we can see the material and quantity packed on this pallet. If we have several materials packed on 1 pallet, we need to check it 1 by 1. The system allows this. If everything is okay, we proceed to the next step. Here we will set the additional statuses for pallet. First, unloading. This means that we unloaded this pallet from vehicle. Then we post goods received the issue was checked and everything is okay. And then we create warehouse task for place this handled unit to the warehouse. Let's check for inbound delivery statuses. They are changed. We have 4 status changed. Three status change: warehouse activity partially completed, unloading partially completed, and put away partially completed. That means that we start with this inbound delivery, but not finished yet. Let's proceed it. Return to the next handled unit. We can see that one handled unit already received. Let's select the second one. Move on. Here we have only one material packed on this handled unit, so we don't need to check several materials. Move the next screen. The same. Fixed unloading, goods received, and warehouse task creation. Return, and we can see all 2 handled units already received at warehouse. If we check status of inbound delivery, we can see that put away is completed, unloading is completed, but warehouse not completed because we did finished the placement of the pallets in the warehouse. If we check warehouse task, all movements in EWM system performed based on warehouse task. In warehouse task, we can see what we move. Handled unit, source and destination, from where, source bin, and to destination bin. This warehouse task placed this handled unit to rack. This storage type is rack. This is high rack storage area. And the second warehouse task will put handled unit to the fixed bins storage area. So to finish goods received, we need to proceed placement of handled unit to the warehouse. It can be done by another employee, for example, forklift driver or something else. We will move back and select task for handled unit placement. We need to clarify HU number to scan it. If everything is okay, the system will show us a destination bin. We need to clarify this destination bin by scanning. System automatically proposes as the next open warehouse task for proceed. Scan next pallet and scan destination bin. So there is no open warehouse task for work, and we will check the statuses of inbound delivery. The inbound delivery fully completed. The same we can do with the second one. We have to receive 2 materials on 3 handled units. Yeah. The same, take ISN number, move to received handled unit by ISN, scan it, check, and one by one we need to proceed all handled units. Scan, check if needed, and set the statuses. The next one. several boxes packed on this handled unit, on this pallet. The same. Check statuses. And the last one. Set statuses. The statuses of inbound delivery changed. Yes, and we need to place handled unit and the storage bins. Let's check whether this handled unit should be placed. If these storage bins are empty. For example, we check this storage bin. The system proposed us to put this handled unit to this storage bin. Let's check if it's empty. The same load warehouse monitor. Select stock and bin, select storage bin, and enter the storage bin. We can see that storage bin is empty. No physical stock at all. Let's complete our warehouse task. And let's check one more time. We can see that in storage bin now we have one handled unit, and we can see what materials and in what quantity placed to the storage bin. Let's finalize our inbound delivery process. Scan our handled unit and place them. So we finalize working with inbound delivery, and our statuses will be fully completed. This means that all handled unit, all items are placed to warehouse. So as I said before, all movements in EWM system logged. So we can check what movements was for this inbound delivery, for example. Here we can see 6 warehouse tasks, and we can check who will perform this warehouse task for unloading handled unit or placing it to the warehouse. We can see who created, who confirmed, when confirmed, when created, everything we can check. Is there any questions regarding goods receipt processes? Okay. If there are no questions, let's move to the goods issue process. As I say, all movement from EWM system performed by deliveries. For goods issue process, we use outbound delivery order. Let's select delivery date. Oops, sorry. Select that date. We can see 4 outbound deliveries. What is the main idea of these outbound deliveries? As you remember, there is functionality wave. This functionality group several inbound deliveries based on predefined criteria, and we can proceed them simultaneously. In our case, if we look to the first and second delivery, we see that they have one route. And based on this route, they put in one wave 26. The third and fourth delivery will be put based on other route to the wave 27. And if we have a wave functionality, we don't need to proceed outbound delivery one by one. We can proceed them simultaneously based on wave. For example, we select outbound deliveries, check outbound item. We need to issue 4 items for these 2 outbound deliveries. Select wave and just release wave. We can see that 4 warehouse task was created for these 2 outbound deliveries, and status for each outbound delivery was changed. It could be not only 2 outbound deliveries, it could be 10, 20, 30, it doesn't matter. We will proceed it by wave simultaneously. Let's start to issue materials with RF simulation. To issue materials, we should use outbound processes. Outbound process, picking, and picking system guided, for example. Let's check. Oops, sorry. I lost connection. I will reconnect. Let's load one more time our monitor, warehouse monitor, for outbound deliveries. So, and simulate RF terminal. Move to outbound processes, picking system guided. The system proposed for us to create picking HU. In this case, we will create a trolley. We create several trolley, and then we will pack them to one shipment handled unit. So here we will create picking handled unit trolley. We need to enter packing material. Yes, this one, and create handled unit. Handled unit create, and we proceed next screen. We need to verify source bin. We need to enter source handled unit from this storage bin. Let's check it. Handled units. We can select this one. System verify is this handled unit correct. Verify product number and quantity. The next picking warehouse task. We need to check handled unit number. Let's take this one. Verify product number and quantity. One more time. As you can see, we complete picking, partially complete picking for one inbound delivery. Verify handled unit number. Let's take the other one. Verify product number and quantity. So we finalized picking issue and verify the destination bin. Okay, system proposed for us the next warehouse task for next outbound delivery. Let's check. For one outbound delivery picking complete, for next one not started. So we can finalize work with first outbound delivery. Let's keep it picking for another delivery and move to creation of shipping unit. Internal processes, just a second. Outbound processes, packing, and manually repack each item. We need to select handled units that we created during picking. This one. Create new handled unit. Enter the packaging materials. It will be pallet in this case. And the destination bin will be goods received out. Let's move back. And finalize with the two. We need to select working center. Scan created shipping unit. This one. Finalize this shipping unit and proceed to moving this pallet to the goods issue zone. Let's select system guided. No, not system guided. Sorry. Outbound process. The system proposed for us the second inbound delivery. Let's select it another way. We scan handled unit. And system proposed for us to verify goods issue bin. And HU. We need to verify destination bin and HO. So we finalized the work with one outbound delivery. If we check statuses, we can see that picking status complete, warehouse activity partially completed, and goods issue not started. So the final step is to perform goods issue for outbound delivery. Just one moment, I will show you that every movement, every activity logged in system. As you can see, if we check status, we can see activities and when it was performed and its status. For example, loading, packing, picking was completed, and now we will finalize with goods issue. So statuses of outbound delivery completed. We can see goods issue logged and material issued from the warehouse for this outbound delivery. The same way we can proceed the next outbound delivery, but I think that logic will be the same. If there are any questions about outbound processes, maybe any other questions regarding EWM system?
Just a question. So, the outbound process and the inbound process that you have shown, this is the basic one, right? I mean to say, what about the complex wave thing? I mean, so the outbound that you have shown now is just with one route and all. I mean, if it is a milk run scenario and so on, how you are going to do that? I mean, just a question is this. You don't have to really show it, but
I don't get the point. Could you repeat, please? Because it was some problem with link.
Okay, I can repeat the question again. So the question, the example for outbound that you showed is the basic standard one route with one wave and all.
Yeah.
How about the complex scenarios?
For sure, we just, as example, select the basic process. If you need it, you can define the different way for outbound processes. You can use, for example, repacking or something else. What do you mean by complex outbound?
More like on the milk run scenarios with 3 different routes and so on.
Yes, it's not a problem. In our case, we have 2 routes, for example, TR301 and TR302. These 2 different routes, we have 4 outbound deliveries, and they grouped into 2 waves, for example. Yes?
Yeah. Yeah.
And we can proceed these waves one by one. For example, I say if we will have more outbound deliveries with these routes, they will be grouped in one wave until we take this wave into work. Yes. If we release this wave, the next outbound deliveries with route TR301 will be assigned to next wave. Yes. So if we have 10, 20, 30 routes, they will be grouped by waves. It's not a problem.
Okay. Will you also cover something related to manufacturing, like PSAs and so on?
No process regarding manufacturing in this webinar.
Okay.
Any other questions? Okay, if there are no more questions, I'd like to thank you all of you for taking time out to participate in our webinar. And as Olga says, at the beginning, you may contact us for free consultation, and a link with the records of this event will be sent to all registered visitors.